We are playing Qortal, and this is the Guide to the Revolution of Values. Chapter 1. The Golden Rules. Hello and welcome from Himalayas, the highest mountain range of our planet. More specifically, from the path that leads to the base camp of Mount Everest, the mountain which is going to accompany us during our journey to the peak. I welcome you to join me on this journey, an exciting adventure that leads us on new Earth. To land on this new plane of reality, we have to pass through a certain portal. Qortal is practical initiator of global revolution. In our case, it is the revolution of values. Qortal extends new era of the internet, providing the basis for decentralized third-generation internet. It is one-of-a-kind, unique platform which has the potential to bend reality, allowing us to provide healthy, happy and exciting life for us and for our next generations. This guide is your personal instruction, explaining how to win in Qortal, the most interactive game in the history of human civilization. Qortal is for free, and it absolutely doesn't require, and never will require anyone to pay, buy or sell anything. Everything is voluntary. In Qortal, everyone is their own, independent, decentralized bank. If you have a computer and a connection to the internet, then in a very simple and smart way, also you can print your retirement at home. You don't have to ask government for permission. You just print your salary and do with your time whatever you want. The victory in Qortal leads to practical understanding that we are all equal, as each one of us was born with the same amount of time. The realization of these values opens the portal to reality. Finally, you can rest in gratitude and begin living. You could ask, how it is even possible? Allow me to explain. Chapter 1, Part 1. It is all my fault. You always get what you want. Alan Watts. Have you ever wondered how it is in this world that some people can legally print money while others are imprisoned for doing so illegally? Of course, the reason for that is not to be able to print an infinite amount of money, because the value of savings earned by hardworking people would diminish, which would disrupt the whole system. But isn't that exactly what happens anyway? Of course, the money printing by the banksters is as nonsensical as money printing by ordinary people. We made up the greatest monetary game in the world, and now we have to save ourselves from drowning in this swamp. We were born into the system based on the belief in the value of money. The banksters and their financial cartels, called the banks, are the biggest bubble and financial pyramid on Earth, which is collapsing at this moment. Every smaller or bigger crisis is only a proof of the instability of the system based on fiat money. The word fiat comes from Latin, which means faith. Global currencies are printed without second thought, stealing the value of savings from the ordinary people. The money printing process is called fractional reserve banking. Why is it so complicated? And why do banksters use so much sophisticated banking jargon? So much so that people lose the willingness to understand what's going on. Fractional reserve banking is a process of printing new money which has to be paid back with a surplus called interest. In a big practical shortcut, the bankster is pressing enter on the computer keyboard in the bank, and the new money is appearing on the account of the borrower. To pay back the full interest on the loan taker has to earn money from the people who took the loans after or before him. It is the only way to pay back the apparent debt. Paying back the full debt, of course, is never possible, because money is created from the need to pay back the loans. Money is debt. That is how we are creating the biggest global pyramid, where somebody has to go bankrupt, die, or commit suicide to cancel the debt, which is impossible to pay off anyway. This effect is built into the structure of the monetary system. It is a vicious circle, similar to the game of musical chairs. What are the rules of the game of musical chairs? The game is based on the idea that, for example, 10 children are going around 9 chairs to the rhythm of the music. At some moment the music stops, and the children have to take a seat. First come, first served. Of course, one child will lose. Bam! Suicide from the depth. In the second round, we take one chair out. The music starts playing, the remaining group is going around the chairs, and music stops. Children have to take a seat. Oops! Another child drops out. Perhaps this time will go bankrupt and homeless. Music starts playing in the next round. Music stops. Third child has to leave the house. Canceling the debt that was unwittingly inherited after the death of distant family member is not approved by the judge. And so it goes until we have one winner and 9 losers. That is how we get the statistics that 1% of the richest people in the world own more than 2 times the wealth of the rest of the population, which is 99% of the people on Earth. The average amount of wealth owned by one person from the top 1% of the richest people is $11 million, and it is only increasing. If we pick 100 random people, one person from this group will be statistically richer than at least 60 people combined. Every smaller or bigger crisis only emphasizes how the poor are practically not rising above the poverty line and the rich are getting richer. How it is that we have simultaneous epidemics of obesity and starvation. Bravo! Please loudly applaud the winners. Those are the kings of the monetary game. Let's honor them by giving each one of them a diamond crown. How it is that on our tiny little planet, the 8 richest men in the world have more money than the poorest half of civilization, which amounts to 4 billion people? How it is that half of the human population lives on less than $6 a day? How it is that approximately 14,000 children die every day from preventable diseases, which is about 10 unnecessarily dead children every minute? This is the current democracy. Free market. In the monetary system, you are as free as your purchasing power. If you want to know the level of freedom you really have, try and go somewhere without the money. The continuation of our monetary game will result in 1% owning 99% and at the very end, one person owning 100% and people getting only QR passes on their smart devices. Smart indeed. I hope you see the problem with the game as we are drowning in the swamp, unable to scream for the rescue. Dollars, euros, yuans and all other currencies are an experiment from which we have learned that we have to change our approach in organizing life on Earth. We have to wisen up, updating our value system, because it has become eclipsed by the greed. The old system based on money, trade, loans and constant infinite consumption has reached its tipping point, as infinite growth is impossible on a planet finite in resources. It doesn't matter if you call it capitalism, socialism, communism, plutocracy, or global totalitarian technocracy controlled by AI in the hands of the rich. All of those systems have fundamental problem. They are still based on money and trade, which inevitably leads to the corruption of the whole system. Corruption is greed. Greed for money, for power, for control. If we would like to eliminate these key issues, we have to get rid of their source, which is the belief in the value of money. If you watch the problems presented in the media, have you ever asked yourself the question, what is the source of these problems? Maybe it is a protest to raise wages. Maybe the government is going to increase interest rates or some taxes. Maybe a desperate man stole something. The problems in the media are most often connected to the lack of money. Besides feeding people fear The media are only describing symptoms generated by the system based on money, not even attempting to go outside their inbox thinking, to ask the real question. I have an exercise for you. Draw 9 dots on the piece of paper and try to connect all the dots with 4 straight lines without lifting pen from the paper. I have a tip for you. Try to do all the exercises in this guide, as if your life depended on it. Questioning the integrity of the whole system is not in the interest of the media, which is rewarded with money when more people would like to know about more problems. Human brain evolutionarily adapted to pay more attention to the things that can kill us rather than positive news. The media is using this evolutionary adaptation to constantly feed people with problems. Moreover, they are rewarded for it. You see, it is not in the interest of the media, no matter if the media is coming from TV or the internet, to point into the direction of the source of the problem, by which we could solve it faster. The central media will never attempt to talk about the corrupt structure of the whole system, but will only describe the symptoms which the monetary system generates. In fact, they are the symptom as well. Does the art create reality, or does reality create art? The media has evolved into the art of instilling a constant sense of lack, division and fear in the minds of the people. Everyday TV show called The News is a script checked by behavioral psychologists working for the central government. The only purpose of the script is to keep everything the same, giving people the illusion of choice. Fortunately, you control this magic button on the pilot. In the money-based system, we lost the authentic human trust. Just look at the commercials selling crap in the form of advertisements, which isn't anything more than a psychological manipulation. You can't even trust your doctor because you don't know if the operation to which he assigned you is really what you need, or maybe the doctor needs to pay off another mortgage. How do you feel about planned obsolescence, which is a strategy in which manufactured goods break down after the guarantee period as fast as possible, forcing the buyer to purchase the item again, increasing the GDP and profits of the corporation? Why should a corporation produce the best, strongest and most efficient car, phone, light bulb or any other product that is as durable as it is technically possible, when the corporation will earn more money when all products will break as soon as the guarantee expires? Why don't we have the working lifetime guarantee for all the products? If corporations would begin to do it, they wouldn't survive in the monetary game of consumptionism. Let's not even mention the stock market, or so-called Wall Street, which is not doing anything to contribute to the benefit of anything in the society. Wall Street is purely speculative gambling for the rich, where you predict the prices of the stocks using derivatives. You basically buy stocks and put them on leverage, predicting whether the price will go up or down. Of course, the price very often goes up because we have constant inflation of all fiat currencies. The rich know that very well, which is why most of their money sits on all kinds of different investments, while poor people use fiat money, which most of the time loses value. As the late great George Carlin once said, "The game is rigged and you are not in the club." Let's, as an example, compare the global money and markets. It is estimated that the global derivatives market has over $1 quadrillion, which looks like this. We can compare it to the value of all real estate, which is estimated to be worth $280 trillion. Global debt is around $253 trillion. Global value of all money is worth around $95 trillion. Gold market cap is around $10 trillion, and cryptocurrency market cap is around $2 trillion. If you want to visualize the full chart, search for comparing world's money and markets. The vicious circle has to be stopped, because the only effect of continuing what we are doing is to add zeros to the millions in the wallets of the rich. It is caused by inflation, the constant printing of money, which is built into the monetary game. We don't need any more problems. We need a real solution. The real solution is to eliminate the underlying beneath this dense and deep swamp problem number one, which is the belief in the value of money. Let's try this exercise. Take a $100 bill to your hand, or any other bill for that matter, and ask yourself a question. Is this colorful, officially looking paper really worth it? Or is it worth as much as 100, written on a piece of a paper from the game Monopoly? I can guarantee you that their value is the same. Both papers can serve the purpose of igniting the fire in your fireplace. I wouldn't recommend using them as a toilet paper, as they are too stiff, too short, and too dirty. Belief in the value of money is the biggest global religion controlled by the invisible hand? No, by the money printers, anti-economists, banksters, and their financial cartels, pharmaceutical cartels, technocratic monopolies, media oligarchy, and central governments are a new priesthood spreading new propaganda of faith. Their motto? Divide and conquer. Money had the general positive impact on the advancements of our civilization, but now is only a hindrance, blocking further development of our human family. Green, officially looking papers are worthless. The only power granting them value is your belief in their value. And the balance of your virtual savings account is also an illusion, which, looking at the global trends, is soon going to be reset to zero, and you will only get green passes. It is inevitable that the total global debt has to be cancelled, because it is impossible to pay off anyway, and if continued, will only grow to infinity. The price increase and lack of goods are part of the plan. Central governments will use debt as the ultimate weapon. If you have any loans, or you are on so-called social benefits, retirement, or you just don't have enough to go around, you can be ready that central governments will offer you a financial aid. Governments want to bring their own cryptocurrencies in the form of CBDCs, which stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. The beta tests of these virtual currencies are taking place all over the world. Virtual currencies like virtual dollar, virtual euro, or virtual yuan. The advantage of using central cryptocurrency controlled by the government is that it allows the tracking of all purchases and is very practical for immediate change of tax policies. Governments can program the system where money granted from the social benefits has to be spent within a certain time frame, as it can be programmed to have an expiration date. If you won't use it, you lose it. This money will only be possible to spend by installing the central government app on your phone. The app will also have your personal data like official versions of your IDs, driving license, vaccine card, or passport. You'll also be able to track your carbon footprint. The best part of the app is the social score. If you are a good citizen because you are either arriving to work on time or choosing public transport, you will be rewarded and your points will increase. If you, on the contrary, are a bad citizen because you bought too much meat, got a speed ticket, or were flying on an airplane, the app will punish you by subtracting some points. When you have a low social score, you will not be able to, for example, take a loan or go abroad. If your score is high, you can go to the front of the lines in the stores and governmental institutions, or you will be assigned more rations of meat. If you're rich, of course you can buy more points so that you can still fly your private airplane. To be fair, those are not my ideas because this app exists in China already and works under exactly those rules. The central government app is a piece of software that will control and track you till the end of your life. It is an absolute, totalitarian, dystopian technocracy. This app will make all dictators' wet dreams come into fruition. The final goal of the app is to collect 100% tax on everything. The only thing the public will get is QR codes, which will be your green pass to do what dictators and watchmen will allow you to do. This is the ultimate prison of the mind. Fortunately for us, there is hope. Thank you, but no, thank you. The decision is yours. You can either use central cryptocurrencies controlled by the government, or you can be mature and responsible enough to take control over your money. The only alternative to prevent this nightmare is possible by using truly decentralized cryptocurrencies like Quart from Qortal. Qortal, however, offers something much more powerful than just a portal to make anonymous transactions, through which you don't need the middleman like the bank or the government. Qortal is the portal to reality. Qortal invites you to question the whole system. Seeing the world from a system's perspective is quite limited by our culture, which likes to put everything in the bubbles of small and big systems, not recognizing the unity and the totality. The first bubble that Qortal is cutting right through is the monetary system bubble. Well-played Qortal is like a precise laser beam, cutting right through the core of the problem, eliminating its source. The biggest religion on the planet Earth, the belief in the value of money, has become the disease of our civilization, similar to the tumor residing in the minds of the people. It is blocking human freedom, authenticity, goodness, and willingness to share. How it is even possible to walk beside other people in need of help and not helping them? The old system anesthetized society to ubiquitous suffering. The only natural cure that can help us is to win in Qortal. To eliminate most of the problems of our civilization, we need to update our operating system to the one that will function better on our monkey minds. We need a transformation of the system, and Qortal is here to help. The effects of Qortal are both immediate, as you're blessed with subtle peace of the mind when you know in the back of your head that you're printing your emergency life insurance at home. The real, long-lasting effects become a reality when we all win. Qortal is the red pill from the Matrix, waking us up from the illusion of the old system. This medicine is what we need now more than ever. We need a new game, and Qortal is here to help. If you choose the blue pill, you go back to the old capitalist game, and you earn money till retirement. Don't watch this material any longer. Turn it off and go back to your life. The Big Brother will surely take care of you. If you, however, choose the red pill, and you're ready to wake up, you will wake up. The choice is yours. Chapter 1, Part 2. Welcome to Qortal, your portal for making dreams come true. Utopia is the most stupid idea that man has ever come up with. Brett Weinstein. If you choose to listen to this material further, then I assume that you're ready. That's why, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to welcome you on New Earth. Qortal is a necessary extension for every system based on money, helping you to restore sovereignty by allowing you to print your money in the form of quart at home. In Qortal, nobody loses because we all understand from the rules of the game that we are all equal, as we were born with the same amount of time. To join Qortal, you don't have to ask government for permission or worry that somebody will catch you, because Qortal is truly decentralized and your account is anonymous. Qortal is not asking about your data. It is enough that you are a thinking individual, a natural person, a free human. Qortal is a DAO, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, which is the newest form of organizing corporations and societies. Nobody is the owner of Qortal, as it belongs to the whole community. Nobody asked me to become the ambassador of Qortal. I just noticed that it is the best practical solution that I am able to imagine for the symptoms of the old system. I am just sharing this information because I know it is powerful enough to change the course of the history of our civilization. I observe problems around the world and imagine possible solutions. Qortal is one of them. Qortal is a grassroots application built by authentic people who do not care about money. They just built the platform that serves our human civilization. I invite you to get to know the story behind Qortal. Banksters in America were giving hundreds of mortgage loans, from which people were building new houses. The newly built houses were standing empty, so the people couldn't pay off the loans. In 2008, it led to the financial crisis, where big corporations and banks were paid off by the government in the form of bailouts, and debt collectors took over the houses of ordinary people. In 2009, as a response to this incident, a new form of money was created. Bitcoin was a public comment criticizing the constant printing of money and trust to the central banks. Bitcoin created a practical solution for the direct exchange of value between two people without the middleman like the bank. It became possible by using impossible-to-change records, which are stored on the new technology called the blockchain. From now on, we don't need to worry that money we send will be lost or won't be sent, because information saved on the blockchain is impossible to change, and you will see exactly what is happening with the transaction you are doing. Everyone has access to the public blockchain explorer, where all transaction data is visible. Blockchain technology eliminates trust for trustless technology, which means a transaction cannot be made without saving it on the blockchain. This technology provides the basis for a new value system where you don't have to trust any central entity. You just send money, data, information or messages directly from the sender to the receiver in a decentralized way through the matrix of a blockchain. All platforms built on the blockchain can be programmed in a unique way. On the Bitcoin blockchain, it is programmed that you can only mine 21 million BTC, and it is impossible to change this algorithm. This built-in scarcity is what makes the price of Bitcoin to rise. The price of Bitcoin is simply the belief and hope of those who buy it that the price will rise. The Bitcoin price chart only symbolizes the dysfunction and corruption of the whole system blinded by capitalist profit. The Bitcoin price chart is a chart of fear and greed created in the minds of those descendants of apes who try to somehow organize themselves on this planet. The fear of not owning a piece of Bitcoin, which brings FOMO, and buying it at a high price, and the fear of price drops, especially while playing on leverage as a game of emotions, where the winners are the algorithms and artificial intelligence of banks and corporations. Fundamentally, the price of Bitcoin is going to exist as long as people believe that numbers with the ticker BTC sent from one account to another have any value. Bitcoin isn't without its shortcomings either. In the original vision of Bitcoin, outlined in the document called Bitcoin White Paper, created by the anonymous person or a group of people who called themselves Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin was supposed to allow ordinary people to mine it on their computers using so-called proof of work. Mining Bitcoin is the only way to create it. All the Bitcoins in the circulation, which add up to around 19 million BTC, were mined by so-called miners as a reward for making the whole network more secure. Satoshi's ill-thought-out problem became apparent when it turned out that the miner with faster processing power could mine more Bitcoin. As a consequence, the miners began competing for faster graphic cards, and those who had more money to buy faster computers could mine more Bitcoin. From then on, it wasn't the one that was earlier or had spent more time mining, but the one that had more money that had been rewarded with more Bitcoin. That's how Bitcoin became pretended decentralization, which is really centralized decentralization, as all miners with their Bitcoin farms, using hundreds of millions of kilowatts of electricity, are creating the same problem that we have now. New banksters, those with bags of Bitcoin that has been mined using the energy resources that are vastly greater than the needs of many countries. Let's compare the use of energy in 2021. The USA used around 4,000 terawatt-hours, Russia around 900, Germany around 500 terawatt-hours, Poland 145, and Bitcoin 129 terawatt-hours, which is more energy than the needs of countless countries like Norway, Algeria, Venezuela, or Czech Republic. It is estimated that in 2022, Bitcoin will consume 195 terawatt-hours of electricity, and this trend will only grow. It is ridiculous that some people in the world still live without electricity, and Bitcoin is nonsensically consuming electricity because of empty faith in its value. It is an absolute crisis of consciousness. Fortunately, some of those early Bitcoiners realized the hypocrisy of Bitcoin. They organize with the purpose of fixing the problem by asking a critical question. How, in a truly decentralized and sustainable way, should the wealth created by Bitcoin be distributed? This is how Qortal was born. Qortal provides the answer to central decentralization, which relates to practically all crypto projects. Qortal's genius solution practically eliminates the possibility of profit only because you have more money and you can buy the influence or graphic cards to mint more Quart. Qortal didn't have an ICO or rich investors who bought the bags of Quart for cheap prices. Qortal started from zero. To begin playing Qortal, you only have to have access to a regular computer with an internet connection. I assume that in the 21st century, those are marginal costs, as access to those tools is available to almost everyone watching this guide. A computer doesn't have to be fast. Practically all computers are good enough and can join the network. Personally, I recommend the Raspberry Pi 4, which runs on free and open source Linux software and uses as much electricity as a phone charger. Qortal's brilliant solution is based on two unique proofs. The first is unofficially called the proof of contribution, where you're rewarded with Quart depending on how long you're synchronized with the platform, confirming blocks and guaranteeing the security of the whole network. Qortal is the only truly decentralized project which also solves the problem of greedy corporations wanting to create hundreds of accounts in order to print significant amounts of Quart. It is prevented by the second proof, unofficially named the organic proof of humanity. Playing Qortal is not an ordinary task. After installing the application and creating the account, you have to find your sponsor, who has been connected to the network for a long time. You have to really talk with him and ask if he could sponsor you. You have to show your interest and briefly explain that you understand the values of our community. If you know him in person, you don't have to explain anything, because he knows what kind of person you are. It is a genuine recruitment for humanity that is very difficult to be manipulated with. Qortal is a platform where we are building a third-generation decentralized internet. Real decentralization is important because it grants your sovereignty. You don't have to ask anybody's permission or worry about censorship. You don't have to worry that Qortal will suddenly disappear because it is 100% the property of the whole community. Even if the founders of Qortal would like to stop it, it is not possible until the last person on Earth running a Qortal node and securing the whole network turns it off. It is already possible to build censorship-resistant websites. From now on, you don't need a middleman to create your domain and set up your website. On Qortal, everything is saved on the blockchain called Qortal Data Network, QDN for short, and no central authority can stop it, delete history, or do anything about it. Everyone can only join. The big problem with the second-generation internet, which is the central internet that most people used every day, is the problem of data collection in order to personalize the content of the internet to your personality. Technocratic monopolies like Google, Microsoft, Meta, BlackRock, Amazon or Apple are experts in manipulating perception so that you will spend as much time and attention as possible using their services. It might not be apparent on the surface, but those corporations do not offer their services for free. The real price is mining as much data and information as they can possibly connect back to you. Your data is collected and organized by supercomputers with AI in huge servers where it is assigned to your serial number. All in order to know your psychological profile so that they can influence your decisions subconsciously, because you won't even know that you were tricked into making certain decisions. You are forced to accept certain terms and conditions to participate in the society. Just think about how many times you have typed anything on the Google search engine, used Google or Apple Maps. In the transition period, don't use Google. Don't let AI read your thoughts. Use something safer, like DuckDuckGo or Quant. If you never paid attention to your privacy and anonymity, you can be certain that AI has your psychological profile and is actively using it against your will. It is a psychological war. Let's say that technocratic cartels would like you to use their services even more and would like you to give them even more data. They can use their Aladdin Oracle, which is part of AI, which estimates potential global outcomes, with only one goal, which is the profit of the BlackRock Corporation. The Oracle may suggest that the best thing would be to generate a global state of fear in the form of a pandemic, so that people would be locked at homes and forced to do everything virtually. All main media sources, both from TV and internet, are sponsored and controlled by them anyway. Censorship of free speech and constructive criticism was the norm. Description of those problems is only a symptom of a child born into the system based on the belief that it has to win in the game of musical chairs, briefly becoming the ruler of this rock revolving around the sun. The disappointment happens when the moment of glory passes within the blink of an eye. Qortal is an impulse that awakens from the ignorance and helplessness of dumbfounded masses. The decentralized infrastructure of the third-generation internet doesn't have an owner in the form of a corporation, because it belongs to everyone who joined the network and actively creates it. The impossibility of data and information manipulation has been built into the structure of the third-generation internet from the very beginning. Qortal blockchain platform provides organizational infrastructure for the entire human family. After joining the network, you will not only be able to reach new levels, but you will also be able to take part in decentralized blockchain democracy, DBD for short, which is a form of direct democracy, where you can be certain that your vote is counted and has power. If you have any interesting ideas, you can also present them to the community and propose a ballot. Voting for the presidents, kings, or prime ministers in the monetary systems was such a pitiful illusion of choice that I felt very sorry for the people who thought they lived in democracy and that the government worked for the society rather than other way around. If voting made any difference, the money printers wouldn't let you do it. Government is necessary to organize society, but no one said it has to be central government, like it looked in the old system. Central power in the hands of few key figures inevitably leads to the corruption. Corruption is not something that can be overcome with better regulation. It is an inevitable side effect, a negative externality of a system based on money and trade. At least it is the case for our human monkey minds. If we would like to finally solve this system error, we have to eliminate its underlying cause, which is the belief in the value of money. We have to transform the whole system. Quart represents both money and time. Quart is a proof of time, or better yet, proof of contribution for making sure that the whole network is more decentralized and more secure. Just imagine how unbelievable it had to be when somebody in 2009 mined 20 Bitcoin on his laptop, at the time worth around $1 per piece, and set a selling price for $60,000 per one Bitcoin. The funny thing is that this person sold it in 2021. This 20 Bitcoin was mined on the laptop of an early hacker, programmer, or early Bitcoiner for free. Yes, technically they had to buy a laptop and had to be connected to the internet, but in the developed parts of the world, those costs are marginal. You could say that they were lucky and they just happened to find Bitcoin in 2009. They were fortunate, but they also had knowledge. They noticed the potential in brand new technology and believed in it. After 8 years of think tanks, learning from mistakes and creation of new visions, after hundreds of hours of writing and correcting open source code and many sleepless nights, the first block on the Qortal blockchain was minted on June 29, 2020. This is how the story of the founders of Qortal unfolded. They offered the possibility for every human on the planet, including you, to join Bitcoin 2.0, Bitcoin for the people. If the market cap of the old Bitcoin keeps getting bigger and bigger, it will more and more become the property of the rich and corporations. On the contrary, if Qortal is becoming bigger and bigger, so does its community, which creates the DAO, decentralized corporation, the property of all those creating the Qortal community. If you have a computer and internet, now even you can begin minting something for free, and you can sell it for whatever price you want. The economy of Qortal. Qortal is just, because everyone is beginning at the same level, at level 0. If you would like to begin minting Quart, you have to be sponsored by somebody who has been minting for a long time, someone who has reached level 5 or higher, or is a member of an early community. After finding your sponsor, you have to be synchronized with the platform for 7,200 blocks, which takes about a week. After that period, you are initiated by getting level 1. From level 1, you can begin minting Quart on your own. To reach level 5 in order to sponsor someone else, you must be constantly synchronized with the platform for about 14 months. It is your baptism. This time is necessary to understand the vision of Qortal, thanks to which you will be able to sponsor everyone who is asking you for it. The current number of people whom you can sponsor at the same time is 5 new members. In the future, this number will be changed by voting, but at the early stages of the project, an increased number of invitations is necessary for faster growth of the community. When the account is not connected to the network because, for example, the internet or the computer turned off, the Quart stops being minted. If the founders of Qortal stop being connected to the platform, Also, they won't be rewarded with their share of Qort. In Qortal, you can ultimately reach level 10. Level 10 does not mean winning the Qortal game. It simply means being a mature member of Qortal community. It is your maturity. Level 10 is the highest level you can possibly reach. We are all equal on this level. If all children would constantly print Qort from the beginning of their birth, their maturity would fall at around 8 years old. The current speed of minting Qort equals 4.25 Qort minted per one block. Each new block on the Qortal blockchain is created at around 60 seconds. It means that about every minute, each currently synchronized member receives divided by everyone, equal to their level amount of Qort. Level 0, with which you are beginning after creating an account, receives 0% of Qort and must be sponsored through 7,200 blocks, which takes about a week, by someone who has level 5 or higher, alternatively by a member of an early community or a founder, to reach level 1 and begin minting Qort on your own. People with level 1 and 2 get 5% of the 4.25 Qort currently minted per block. Each higher level receives a bit more Qort, as they are synchronized with the network for longer time. Level 3 and 4 receive 10%, level 5 and 6 15%, level 7 and 8 20%, and level 9 and 10 receive 25% of the 4.25 Qort minted per block. This mechanism provides an equal distribution of Qort to everyone, depending on how long you're synchronized with the network. The speed of minting Qort per block right now equals 4.25 Qort. Every 6 months, this pace slows down by 0.25 Qort until it reaches 2 Qort. Then the speed of minting goes through the yearly voting, where the speed of change cannot be higher than the range between 0.25 and 1 Qort. For example, if we are voting to change the speed of minting when we have 2 Qort minted per block, the only possible choices will be 1, 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, 2, 2.25, 2.5, 2.75 or 3 Qort per block. The minimal speed is 1 Qort and the maximal speed cannot be higher than 5 Qort. Qortal does not have a maximum number of Qort that can be minted. New Qort is minted all the time on all currently synchronized accounts, which means that there is enough for everyone. The higher level you have, the power of your voting during decentralized bailouts is more important until you get to level 10, where we all have the same power of vote. In order to receive Qort, you have to give something. It is your time. You don't have to click or confirm anything. It is enough that your account is now synchronized with the Qortal blockchain. And because you are an active member of the community, you are rewarded for your contribution by making sure that the whole network is more decentralized and more secure. Communication with the sponsor is an organic human interaction that works on the rule, "Here you have, thank you." It is an irreplaceable element of Qortal which actively blocks corporations from creating monopolies on minting Qort. Just think about it. Would anyone work for any corporation asking Qortal community members to sponsor accounts? The accounts that would generate passive income for the corporation when this worker could do the same thing at home. When corporations would like to begin minting Qort, it will begin self-destruction of their operating structure. After eliminating the greed of the corporations, we just need to eliminate the greed of an individual who is restrained from creating many accounts by the organic proof of humanity and the time necessary to reach level 5 anyway. To eliminate the greed of an individual, you need to understand the values of our community. Qortal is not a machine for printing money, but the most interactive game in the world. If we would like to win in Qortal, the creation of many accounts and an attempt to mint Qort for the greed of money and profit won't change a thing. If those are your motives, you have to refresh the golden rules of the game. The golden rules of the game. In the game of Qortal, you do everything in your power to make sure that you are synchronized with the Qortal blockchain network right now, minting Quart on your account. You help your relatives and those you care about the most so that they also do not waste their precious time and join our community as soon as possible. If they don't know how to install Qortal Core and Qortal UI, you can teach them. If you don't know how to install it, you can visit one of the Qortal websites and find the instruction. The game is won when the last person joining Qortal does not have to and does not want to sell their minted Quart for any price. Because we all understand that Quart is priceless, just like our time. Unlike in the money-based systems, where the first has the first mover advantage, in Qortal we all win at the same time, when the last person decides not to sell their Quart for any price. The price of Quart rises to infinity, and at the same time, the belief in the value of money disappears. It is true all for one, one for all. In this way we made the great transition, the transformation of the system, the revolution of values, from the system based on greed for money and profit, to the system based on sharing and not expecting anything in return. The real currency of Qortal, the QQQ, are phrases like, "Here you have, please, not a big deal, excuse me, I feel sorry, I forgive you, hi, hello, how are you, good morning, good night, see you later, have a great day, have a great life, enjoy, good luck, I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you." Share them at your will. It is checkmate and game over for all systems based on money. The victory in Qortal means the end of the game of exploitation, corruption, and practically all the problems that have bewildered mankind for the last 10,000 years. From now on, the community accepts payments only in QQQ. We use the real currency of Qortal every day, and we know this game very well, as our parents taught us those rules when we were little children. Your brain can mint QQQ all the time, and it is an infinite resource. This is where your resourcefulness comes from. Everybody is rich in QQQ. Everyone is already a millionaire. Paying with QQQ still functions among circles of family and close friends. The only thing we have to do now is to extend our family and friends to the whole human family. Interactions with strangers became dimmed by the ignorance, so instead of authenticity and gratefulness, we began to exchange with the faith in the value of money and numbers on the screen. If every person from the birth would be synchronized with the network, the amount of Quart would be dependent only on your age. The older you are, the more influence you have, until you reach level 10, where we all have the same influence. Reaching level 10 means becoming a mature member of the Qortal community. Qortal is a multi-generational game. You can pass your time to your children, giving them your secret keys to your account. The secret keys are generated when you are creating new account. The keys are 14 randomly generated words from the dictionary. In the event that you forget the password to your account or your computer breaks down, those keys are the only way to restore your account and all the data. You can also download backup file from the security settings and keep your keys offline. It is your secret keys that make you your own independent bank. It is your private keys that provide your freedom and sovereignty. The private keys are a secret that belongs only to you. It is a secret that connects all Qortal community members. Do not write your secret phrases on a computer, phone, and moreover on the internet. Write them by hand, on a piece of paper, and store this paper offline, in a secure place, because in the decentralized world, you will not be able to call the support center. Private keys are big responsibility. I hope that you are mature enough to take good care of them. Protect them against fire, bury a copy in your garden, or create a poem that you will tell your children before bed. We have to patent it. We are standing on the shoulders of the giants behind us. Isaac Newton. Copyrights and patents are really an awful capitalist BS created for the sake of profit. It is an unnecessary obstacle blocking the progress and development of our civilization. How can anybody claim the ownership of anything? You got everything for free. Did you pay for being born? Let's take a pen as an example. Did you come up with the idea of the pen? No. The creator of the pen is long gone. The pen was here before you were born. Thanks to the pen, you can write down new ideas for which you now want proof of ownership. You will even bluntly sign your papers with the pen that you got for free. Will you share the profits with the creator of the pen? Probably not. We own a little bit of everything equally. The analogy of the pen can be extended to practically everything. Did you come up with the lighter, sewing needle, drinking cup, or a computer? I doubt it, yet those tools allowed you to create something for which you now want to claim money and acts of ownership. Fortunately for us, there is a model of creation that recognizes that we have to work together. It is called open source, and means that the basis of creation is open to everyone willing to contribute or use it for anything more than the gratitude. The code, created in an open source way, allows everyone to collaborate and learn from mistakes. Everyone who knows programming can have a unique contribution, making the whole system better. Open source is the opposite of patents and licenses. Systems like Linux, Qortal, LineageOS, OpenStreetMaps, torrents and apps like F-Droid, DuckDuckGo, LibreOffice, Organic Maps, Element or VLC are created in exactly this way. Anyone can use it for nothing more than to express gratitude to talented programmers who provided you with this technology. Chapter 1, Part 3. It is the financial advice. Never be fearful and never be greedy. Simon James. The genius of Qortal rests in fact that it removed the need to have a lot of money at the start in order to have more influence in the network. It eliminated the rule of the first mover's advantage. On level 10, we are all equal. We all walked different paths to reach the peak, but the view from the top of the mountain is always the same for everyone. The currency of Qortal is time, represented by Quart, your proof of contribution to the whole network. If someone is selling their Quart, it is like selling their time, and time is priceless. Never sell your time unless you are forced by the old system. Treat your minted Quart as life insurance. The price of Quart is only dependent on the price at which you are willing to sell it. If you will, for example, mint 1 Quart in a week, you can set a selling price at $1 million if you think this is how much your time is worth. The price of Quart is the biggest joke on earth, just like the price of Bitcoin or Dogecoin. If you are a rich investor and are thinking about how you can make money on Quart, realize that investing in Quart is like investing in the internet or time. During the transition period, time has its old capitalistic price valued at around $1 for 1 Quart at the time of creating this material. Time, however, is really priceless, and if someone is deciding to sell their minted Quart, it's like selling their time, which is an act of tremendous desperation. Investing in Quart and buying it now is like buying BTC in 2009. It is a joke. Buying Quart is unnecessary because you can mint it for free. Qortal is the ultimate troll of all systems based on money. Know that when buying Quart, you have to account for its price growing exponentially to the infinity and disappearing at the same time. If you are playing Qortal, you know in the back of your head that you are saving your time in the form of Quart and it is your insurance in the old system. If you really need to, you can sell it and realize your capitalistic needs. If you bought everything you wanted to buy and did everything you wanted to do, then there is nothing more satisfying than sharing and not expecting anything in return. The money of Qortal belongs to us all. The value of Qort is priceless in the old system and worthless on New Earth. On New Earth, we are only paying with QQQ, described in the golden rules of the game. QQQ is the currency of the organic blockchain of the universe that Qortal is built on top of. Understanding these values opens the portal to reality. You can finally rest in gratefulness and begin living. What Qortal really has to offer is the community with a totally restored value system. Imagination creates reality. Qortal is a platform, Qortal is a matrix, Qortal is the zeitgeist that runs through every aspect of life. Qortal provides a new operating system for those ape ancestors whom we are, living on this planet we called Earth, in a more reasonable and intelligent way. Nobody can lose in Qortal, and everyone has an equal opportunity to begin minting Qort. In the game of Qortal, there are only two possible states. The second state is the state 0, at which we have not won yet. And the first state is state 1, already after the victory. If you would like to be the one, then choose wisely, as it all boils down to your choice at every moment. Victory in Qortal eliminates the division on rich and poor. If we called ourselves thinking people Homo sapiens sapiens, why can't we understand that we are all one big human family and we have to work together to create happy, healthy and exciting reality for us and future for our next generations? Together we stand, divided we fall. Isn't that our common global goal? Isn't the ideology of divide and conquer our common global enemy?